Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am building another family home, and this time I am building here on the island of Windenburg because I don't think I have built on the island in a really long time, so I definitely thought this would be a good location. I could build something kind of beachy and cozy, and something for a sim who might like to spend a lot of time alone. And so I thought that would be a nice idea. There's 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and I just tried to make it feel cozy and perfect for the Sims that I imagine living here, so I hope you guys will like it. But before we get too far into the video, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Merge Gardens. Merge Gardens is a combination of Merge and Match 3 puzzle games. It's a great mixture of those beloved games that's perfect for everyone. Merge Gardens is a fun and casual game where you build your own garden full of trees, plants, butterflies, birds, and ponds. You build this all while trying to solve the mystery surrounding it at the same time. Merge Gardens is such a beautiful and colorful game. My favorite part just has to be the art style. It's so pretty and honestly very inspiring. I love all the buildings and the creatures, and I just love the variety this game has to offer between building your garden and solving the mystery and playing Match 3 puzzles. Merge Gardens is such a casual game. It's easy to play when you have a minute to relax. I love playing in the morning while having my coffee. It's such a great way to start the day. This game also offers timed events for players to participate in for special rewards. Different game events offer new places to see, unique items, and consistent game updates offer new puzzles and items too. So download Merge Gardens today. It's completely free to play. Click the link in the description box or use the QR code on screen to dive into this fun and charming game. Thank you again to Merge Gardens for sponsoring today's video. So as you can see, this house has a lot of windows, and this was something that I really wanted to include because, well, partly because I wanted there to be great lighting on the interior, and The Sims 4, when you have it on like higher settings, has amazing lighting. Like, it's so pretty and really can just not make or break a room. A room can still be pretty, but it just like enhances it quite a bit, I think anyways. But also this lot has like great views of the ocean and just like the surrounding island area, just like the landscaping. It just feels so peaceful and like, I don't know, serene out here, like especially the little kind of sunroom area that I made on the right side of the house. I was originally going to make it more of like a greenhouse room, but as I started decorating the interior, I decided to make it the home office, and it just has like a great view of the water from the desk, and I can just imagine working there and having that view. It would be too perfect. It'd be amazing. So yeah, I wanted to include a lot of windows and lots of doors and just make it a really not indoor outdoor living, because I think this island might get kind of cold depending on like the season, but I wanted it to have access to both the indoors and the outdoors really easily. And I just really wanted this sim that lives here to really feel like they embrace the nature and they love plants and they love living on the island and being alone for the most part. So I built this for a single mom and her infant, and so I was trying to think of how this may have came about and why this woman lives alone and why she now is going to have a baby. So I was thinking that she is maybe an artist or a writer, does some like fishing and stuff. I don't think she sells the fish, but I definitely think it's a hobby. And then gardening is a main hobby of hers. I don't think she sells them either. Maybe a little bit here and there, maybe a little bit, but mainly I think she just works from home as a writer and artist, like I said, and she really prefers being alone, and that's why she bought this home here on this island, which I feel like every time I build a home for a sim here, that's kind of the direction I go. But I just think it's so perfect for a sim that just loves nature and just kind of like the quiet, just peacefulness that the island has to offer. And so that's always what I imagine. But anyway, so I think that's kind of like the main personality this sim has. And either this sim has decided to adopt, or they've had a science baby, or they went to town and had a fling and now they're having a baby. I don't think that they were in a relationship and their significant other has left. I don't think that has happened. I don't think anything tragic has really happened either. I just think that there's been some sort of situation. Either they've decided to have a baby or it was a surprise. And so I don't know, it kind of depends on which direction you want to go with it if you decide to play with this sim, but you could easily just turn this into a family home and have like a big old like giant family live here. You could even turn like the sunroom into a bedroom, and honestly the nursery is kind of a big room if you wanted to have like bunk beds in there, and you could split it into 2 smaller rooms, or you might even be able to find room to like squeeze in a basement or I'm not sure, maybe expand the house somehow, but I just love the shape of it. So I personally wouldn't want to mess with the shape of the house because I think it's just, yeah, really cute. Forgive my voice if you guys can tell it's quite scratchy. My whole family has came down with a cold. Again, I swear, my husband and I never got sick before, like maybe once a year, a light cold, maybe the flu every like few years, something like that. But now that we have a toddler and he goes to different like play centers, like he goes to the play center at the gym, and I swear we're sick all the time now. Like kids are such germ factories. It's crazy, but yeah, hopefully it's not too distracting or anything, but I can definitely feel it as I try to say certain words. And so I thought I would bring it up. But anyways, for the landscaping, I really wanted to do something that looked not so, I mean, kind of natural, but not so like untouched. I really wanted it to feel like this Sim spends a lot of time in her garden. She really pays attention to her flowers and trims her hedges and her bushes, and she's really just always out here taking care of everything. Except for the fence line does have some grass growing up, but I felt like that would give it more of that kind of like beachy look, and so that's what I was going for. And then I thought this fence that came with Cottage Living was so perfect because I really wanted to use a more rustic looking fence, like a fence that looks a little bit more, I guess, weathered. And I tried a couple of debug fences and they just looked too just untaken care of. Like I was trying to use this broken wooden fence that looks like it probably belongs more on like a farm style build. I don't know, I like it, but it just felt a little bit too untaken care of. Like I think this Sim would repair any broken pieces, but I wanted it to have that distressed, weathered look just from being by the ocean, like just the sea air and the salt and the wind and everything. So I thought this one was pretty perfect, and it kind of gave that same look that I was going for. And then for all of the different plants, I used some bushes. I didn't really use too many plants that can be seen in the surrounding area, and usually that's what I try to do, but I think all of these plants have been pretty much planted by the Sim themselves. And so she has gone to the plant store and specifically picked out the flowers and stuff and picked out the hedges and everything. But there's a couple of random bushes, the trees, I believe, the tall skinny ones and the ones on the left side of the build, those ones you can see in the surrounding areas, or at least in different parts of Windenburg, because they did come with that expansion pack. But the other ones came with other packs. Actually, I think the flowered one also in the front came with Windenburg also, or Get Together. But this olive tree in the back came with my wedding stories, and then another tree back here came with Growing Together. And I just thought they looked really nice back here, so just gave it some variety. And then back here, I really wanted to have some planter boxes and then planter pots. I ended up moving the pots to this side porch area so I could fit a clothesline so the Sim could like hang her clothes out to dry when it was a nice breezy day or something. And then I used this decoration originally thinking I was going to turn it into some sort of a greenhouse, but I figured it's like a repurposed greenhouse. Maybe this Sim had like found this greenhouse at like, I don't know, like some sort of a flea market or some sort of a random shop or something, and she decided to kind of fix it up a little bit, take all of the broken windows off and just leave like the main structure that was still intact and turn it into her nice like outdoor patio area. So I put a barbecue out here, a few different potted plants, an outdoor dining table with these nice wicker chairs, and just other decorations that I thought would look nice, but especially the string lights, I feel like just really made this spot like come together, and it just feels so cozy. And I don't know, I would love to sit there and have a nice like glass of iced tea or something. It'd be so perfect. And then I decided to use this decorative potting bench. You could of course use the flower arranging table if you prefer that, because of course that is functional and it came with seasons. This one came with Eco Lifestyle. It's not functional, but in my opinion it just looks so good just because it has like a set of string lights on it. It has different like pots, and it even has like some spilt soil on the table. Like it just looks so used, and it's cute, and I thought it was perfect for this build. So yeah, other than that, I like put a few different potted plants around. Some of course are just purely decorative because I wanted them just to not really need any care, but I still wanted it to feel like the Sim had lots of different potted plants around her home and everything, so I thought that turned out really nice. And then over here I do have a balcony area, and I had originally planned on putting some lounge chairs up here and just having like a great view of the ocean, which would have been perfect, but the way I did the roofing, it pretty much just blocked the entire view, so it was kind of pointless. So you'll see me decorate it here in just a little while, and I just put an outdoor dining table, just like a higher one, like I had to use a bar height one. And so maybe if you wanted to reconfigure the roof line a little bit and put like a fence instead of a half wall so the Sim could like see through it, then maybe lounge chairs or something would make more sense, but I didn't want to mess with it, so I decided just to do something different. But anyways, here we're moving on to the interior. So for the interior, I really wanted to make the home feel like a mix between like cozy cottage sort of feel with modern pieces, and I wanted to use a lot of blue and sandy colors just to sort of make it feel beachy basically. And I also wanted to use a variety of packs, which is something I don't always do, but sometimes I feel like if I intentionally try to use different packs and different items, you know, with different styles, it just really makes a nice sort of like feel in a home where it doesn't feel too much the same. Like this home is pretty matchy color scheme wise, but style wise it's very eclectic, and there's different pieces from different packs, and I think somehow they all blend together, and it's really fun to do in my opinion. So hopefully you guys will like that too. But like for instance, in here I have a mixture between like parenthood items, stuff from Growing Together, the tiles from City Living, the tile on the floor anyways, the tile on the wall is from Parenthood, and I feel like we haven't got anything that's beat the Parenthood tile. Like, and even the wainscoting, which is the plain wallpaper on the top, we haven't got anything that's beat that. It's so versatile, and I can use it in so many different types of builds. Like it's my go-to. I originally didn't want to use the Parenthood counters and cabinets though, but it just pretty much had the best set for the look that I wanted to go for, because the countertops are this sandy color. The blue was like the perfect blue, and they weren't too rustic. They look a little bit modern, but they still look kind of cottage. So it was like basically the perfect style. So that's what I ended up using, but I know I use them way too often, not as much as I used to before we like didn't have any counter options, and Parenthood was like the only good one basically, and so I use them in like every single build. It's gotten better these days because we do have a little bit more variety with counters and everything, but they're still a go-to for sure. Over here in the dining area, I decided to go with the dining set that came with my wedding stories. I felt like it looked pretty beachy, especially with the wicker back and the chair. And I also thought the gray color of the table set looked pretty nice too, because it wasn't too matchy to the rest of the build. It wasn't like a brown or a blue color, but it still felt beachy in a way. And then the bookcase that I'm using behind the stairs came from Growing Together. The fireplace also came from Growing Together. The couch that I'm going to use came from Growing Together, and then the rug under the dining table. So I'm still using a lot of stuff from that pack, but I didn't want to build in the world again because my last several builds have been in that world, and I feel like they're all going to kind of end up looking the same just because it's a very craftsman style world and it's suburbia. Although there is like more of like the downtown area that maybe I could build something a bit more modern or something. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any ideas, but that's what I'm thinking. But in here, the coffee table came from Parenthood. The rug, I made laundry day probably. I don't know. And then the chairs came from Paranormal. So it's just like a super mixture of stuff. And something I wanted to mention over here that I did not realize until I was editing the video. I've already taken all the screenshots and everything, so I'll probably just fix it before uploading it to the gallery, but the side table to the left of the couch is way farther back than the one to the right, and so I did not even notice this in the slightest, and so I will fix it so it's nice and even, because it's gonna drive me crazy. So I'll fix it before uploading it. And then here on the coffee table, I decided to do this trick that I haven't done in a while. I've done it a few times before, but it's been a little while since I've done it. But I use this side table that came from, I think, Dream Home Decorator, and I just size it down and raise it up. and used 2 of them together, and I want it to look like a tray sitting on the coffee table. And then I just added a few decorations up on top of it. At this point, I don't have any baby items, but I do go through and I add like a basket of toys in the living room, a play mat, and then in the office area, I also add a like pack and play sort of crib. So while the sim is working at her computer, the infant can be napping or maybe playing with a rattle or something inside the pack and play. So yeah, I thought that was kind of a nice idea and pretty practical and probably pretty realistic if you work from home, to have like a little bassinet or something next to your workspace so your infant can sleep, or at least you could have them like close by you if they're like playing or doing tummy time or something. You can get something done really quick and then you could attend to them as soon as they need something. And then over here is going to be the downstairs bathroom. There's one other up on the first floor, and there's room, honestly, if you wanted to take out the walk-in closet in the master bedroom and turn that into like a tiny little bathroom. There's possibilities for that too. But in here, there's just like a stand-up shower, a sink, and a toilet. But you could probably fit a tub in here too if you just wanted to reconfigure some of the decorations. But it's a nice, simple, sort of like Jack and Jill bathroom. It's connected to both the entryway and the exit way to the house. I don't know, I always called this area of the house a back porch, and I've mentioned it a few different times in videos, and I'm always surprised that other people say that they would call it the same, because it's definitely not a porch. Because a porch is like open to the outside, but the only reason I call it a porch is because in my childhood home we had like a mudroom area, and before the house was remodeled, it used to be a porch, but then they enclosed it, and so it became like, you know, part of the house and not a porch area, but everybody still called it the porch, so they just called it the back porch, even though it wasn't a porch. And so I still do that today with mudroom areas and areas of this type in a house. So let me know what you guys would call it. But yeah, I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. But back here I have the washer and dryer. I end up putting a vacuum, and I used 2 different types of vacuums, and I was very excited about this because we have had vacuums in the game for quite some time now, and I always forget to use them. And then also the thermostat too, I do a little bit better job of remembering that one, but I remembered it in this build as well. So I was very proud of both of those things, and I think this whole like laundry area just looks so cute and so perfect in my opinion, because it has all of those extra details with the vacuum and everything. So it just feels like a true like mud room. I probably should have gone through and found the mop that's actually like a flying device for the spellcasters. I should have found the mop too, because that would have been also a nice detail, but you could definitely add that if you guys do have the Realm of Magic game pack. But over here is going to be that office space that I was talking about. So in here, I wanted to have some skill building objects like the art easel, the guitar. I wanted to have the computer desk, and as you can see, the view from the desk is like so dreamy in my opinion. Like I would just, I would like never want to work anywhere else if I had this view. Like it'd be so amazing. But yeah, I think this area turned out really nice. I placed the pack and play here in a second. So when I first placed the toys, I was planning on going for a completely like opposite color scheme for the infant's room and like all of the baby decorations. But when I went to go place the pack and play, and like the colors were so different than everything else, I decided to go with the matching color. The only thing that really isn't matching is this little play mat, just because like all of them don't match anything because it's just so bright and colorful, and which is, you know, perfect for a little infant who's developing their eyes and need to be stimulated and everything. But I would have loved something that was like really neutral just to satisfy my like matching desires when decorating. So but I think it worked out anyways. But up here is the upstairs bathroom. So what you could do if you wanted to have a larger family, you could easily turn this into a bedroom too, because it's a pretty good sized bathroom. And then there is the walk-in closet space connected to the mom's bedroom that could easily be turned into like a small bathroom. Or you could have the downstairs bathroom be the only one and just put like a shower and a tub in there, and then that would basically meet all the needs of any sim that's going to live here. So that's totally a possibility, and I think you just have like a lot of different options if you decide to play in this build. But I think this bathroom turned out really nice, and just nice and cozy, and I like the layout of it. And I couldn't help but use the shower that came from Growing Together again in this build. It's just such a good shower, and I don't know, I love it. I think it's like so pretty. But over here I had like this whole landing area, and I decided to put a side table over here. This is just kind of like a hallway leading to the landing area because I kind of separated it with my makeshift archway. But in here I put some picture frames up on the wall, a few different decorations, and a fishbowl. But in here I really wanted to make this another skill building area, so I put this new stand-up piano that we got with growing together in here, and then I put like a chair and I think some artwork and stuff. Nothing too crazy, a few decorations up on top of the piano, but that's pretty much it. It's not like a super cluttered space or anything, but I mainly wanted to use the piano because we finally have a standing piano and I don't have to create one using side tables and a keyboard, so it's like very exciting. But over here is where I placed the little chair. I figured the sim could sit here and read, or if somebody is over, they could sit and listen to them play the piano. There's also a bookcase in here, so it's kind of more of a reading nook, but you could definitely have a sim sit there and listen to somebody play the piano too. That's a possibility. But yeah, this is the walk-in closet over here next to the parents' bedroom or the single mom's bedroom that I was talking about, so you could utilize that space too. But I love the walk-in closet because of the interactions and stuff that it has. Like, it just adds a little bit extra gameplay to the space. But yeah, for this bedroom, I just wanted to continue with the color scheme of the house, but that's pretty much the entire house. And I just wanted to add a lot of plants in here, make it feel cozy. I also add a vanity table from Vintage Glamour in here so the sim could sit and do her makeup. I do think this particular sim, even though they like being alone and don't see that many people, still dresses quite nice. I think she still does her makeup, probably wears nice dresses, like sundresses and hats and stuff. And so I wanted her to have like a nice place to sit and do her makeup. Like, I feel like even though she doesn't see people, it's still very important to her to like look nice because it just makes her feel better and everything. So I thought that was kind of a nice idea. And then I just put a chair over here, a few poofs, a few decorations, and I think that's pretty much it for the room. So it's kind of a simple room, but I like it. And then over here is going to be the infant's room. So like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be very matchy-matchy to the rest of the build, just to keep it cohesive because I just like decorating that way. But I think this room turned out to be so cute. I love this plaid wallpaper. I thought it was like so charming and everything. And I decided to use some brown. I used the brown high chair too, and I thought it kind of tied in with the floors. And then I was going to use the brown crib too, like the wooden brown crib. But it just didn't look very good in my opinion, so I decided to use this more modern one, and I think that kind of complemented again like the look that I was going for in the rest of the build, because it's that more mixture between traditional and modern. And then I sized up the bookcase using the tool mod, and then I also used the tool mod to drag it into the wall a little bit to hide the shadow, because unfortunately the shadow does not size up with it. But over there I just made like a little play area with a toy box, giant oversized stuffed animal dog, and the giraffe, and different decorations. Over here I'm just adding a few different things like the changing table, a hanging plant in the corner. There's a lot of hanging plants in this build, but that's something that the mom in this house really likes. It's very important to her to have lots of plants, so I thought that was pretty perfect. But here I'm just adding a few additional decorations, a few toys and baskets and things that I thought would work nicely in here. But I'm so happy that this room ended up being such a good size, because I was able to fit like almost every infant thing in here besides some of like the miscellaneous clutter and stuff. So here you'll see I placed the lounge chairs, and I go to check the view, and yeah, it was completely blocked. So I felt like there was no point. So I put a high table back here. I used the one from Tiny Living that you have to find in the miscellaneous services category. So if you're having trouble finding it, that's where it's located, which is kind of strange. But yeah, here I'm just doing some terrain paint, and then this is pretty much it for the build. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys do enjoy the screenshots. So thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!